Welcome to Chicago Counterpoint with Jeffery Leving. Chicago Counterpoint is brought to you by the Fatherhood Educational Institute, which is a not-for-profit corporation within the state of Illinois. And it's a pleasure to be back here again another Thursday evening. Today, our new producer for this show is Danielle Masterson, and it's a pleasure to have a brilliant publicist and media strategist such as herself donating her time for free to the Fatherhood Educational Institute so we can bring you this important show. And today, the show is going to focus, at least initially, on gang and school violence in Chicago. And I'd like to discuss strategies on how to prevent this. This is very, very serious. Chicago public school students have been killed this academic year, and it's growing. It's very, very serious, and we need to prevent this. We need to discuss strategies. Now, once again, before we start the show, if anybody is interested in getting any information on the Fatherhood Educational Institute, which partners with the U.S. Department of Education, you can call 312-795-9060. That is 312-795-9060. And you could always log on to fatherhood-edu.com. If you want to call, and I know there are people on hold right now, but if you want to call, we'll get you on the air. Dial 312-738-1060. Now, that number is not the number to the Fatherhood Educational Institute. That's not my number. That's the number to the studio if you want to get on Channel 21 and discuss this issue. And our first caller is Joe. Joe, welcome to Chicago.
How you doing? May I say, first of all, I like your new look. If I was sitting on the other side of the court, whatever, in my mind, like I said, I called you this once before, you'd be the butcher. I would hate to have to deal with you. Well, my idea is this, all right? All these bad parents, they make it bad for the good parents. And if we can put boots on people's cars when they don't pay their parking tickets, or we can take money out of people's paychecks and make sure they support their children, for these parents that their children not going to school, or they such a disciplinarian problem, or they staying out late at night, I wish these judges, why don't these judges make these parents be handcuffed to their children? If their parents not working for 30 days, they have to be handcuffed to them. If they are working, make them have to take one of their vacation time, be cuffed to them for a week. And I think we'll see a change in behavior, in my opinion. We need to do something to make these parents much more responsible. We can come up with all these different programs if you want to. And I look at a lot of these programs they have, it's nothing more, parents are the ones that should be raising their children. They the ones that are responsible for putting morals and values in them. And we can have all these different programs to try to resolve the problem and try to look as a shortcut towards parenting, which is not. What do you think about it?
I'm glad you called because you've brought up many interesting points, and I'm a big supporter of freedom of speech in this country. But one important point I'd like to comment on before we take the next caller is that parents need to raise their children, not father figures, but parents, biological fathers. And too often, biological fathers are kicked to the curb, and mothers often look for father figures, a neighbor, or a policeman, or a teacher, or a psychologist, or a therapist, because biological fathers are being pushed out of their children's lives. And that's a real issue. It's a problem in our society. And that's one of the reasons we have gang and school violence in the city of Chicago, because the most reliable predictor of crime in America is father absence, and fathers are being kicked to the curb. And you can't get a police officer or a psychologist to be a biological father substitute. And thank you for calling, sir. Our next caller is Blaine. Blaine, welcome to Chicago Counterpoint.
Hi there. I don't know what to do. My ex isn't letting me see my son, and I feel like the only thing I can do is to threaten to cut off child support, but I know that gets a lot of guys in trouble. I just don't know what I can do. She seems to just want to throw the court order into the toilet.
Well, keep in mind, if you stop paying child support, you can end up in jail. That will not solve the problem. What can solve the problem is if the mother is thrown in jail if she won't get her act together. And in Illinois, visitation interference is a crime. And if you want a copy of the new law criminalizing visitation interference, sir, I will be glad to send it to you. And the number is 312-795-9060. That's area code 312-795-9060. And I will send you a free copy of the law in the state of Illinois criminalizing visitation interference. Our